Alright, what is going on, guys? It's your boy MAUZY, and today I'm going to do something that I don't usually do. I just saw this really cool September 2023 competitive map pool and balance update test, and normally I'd be like, oh, okay, let's look at it. But these are some crazy changes for like a 13-year-old game, okay? That hasn't seen too many updates in quite some time. So let's kind of read the whole thing, and then we are going to just grab this link and just go for it. I'm going to open this. This is the Rent3 link, and yeah, let's jump right into it. So, competitive map pool and balance update test, September 2023. Hi everyone, this is Alex, ESL SC2 Pro Tour Manager, and I'm really excited to share the plans to refresh the competitive environment for Starcraft 2 Esports with the new map pool and the major balance update. So if you don't know, Alex007 is a content creator. Not exactly sure of his nationality, but maybe Alex007 SC2. If we grab the Wikipedia page, we can see he's a Ukrainian content creator for, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he's a caster as well. So he's also a really important personality in the SC2 scene right now. So everything that he does is of real importance. But anyways, let's jump into this whole thing. So first of all, disclaimer: don't treat this as official patch announcement from Blizzard. All proposed changes are coming from the community, are currently just in public testing phase, and are still subject to change. I haven't looked at this, if this is on the PTR already. We'll check that later, and probably maybe just follow up with some additional content and whatnot. And yeah, just a side note before we begin this whole thing. I am no pro player. I'm a caster, so I kind of see what pro players struggle with, and I talk to some of the pros, well, more like GM players, I'd say. And it's important to note that I am not a professional player. I'm not part of this balance council, or call it whatever. So yeah, I'm kind of like representing the meta leagues and probably around the Diamond 2 area. So I could say Diamond and below, maybe. That's what I represent. So I'm gonna give my thoughts if somebody is interested in these leagues and maybe just missed this post. Hopefully nobody, because this is a big one. So as the first step, we'd like to present the new map pool, which may become, so this is already concerning me, may become the competitive and ladder standard for the winter season. Winter season, I'm not exactly sure if I like this phrasing. Winter season is like the last season, I think. And that's still far away. All 7 maps were parts of the recent Team Liquid map contest, number 18, so TLMC 18. And we're extremely grateful for the whole map making community and for everyone who made yet another edition of TLMC happen. These maps can all be found on the Battle.net servers with the LC ladder candidate tag after the map name. Please make sure to provide feedback only for LC maps versions. So yeah, in case there's like any other ones, like I'm not sure if these are like the originals. They got renamed, but probably they made some modifications to these, corrected some of the spots, bugs, you know, abusable spots. I think there is one on Royal Blood currently, which is probably on the 4th page, the line 4th, where Liberators can just set up without any issues and have freedom, like with range. Stalkers cannot reach it, so that's kind of abusable, I guess. I'm not sure if that's corrected for the ESL version. I know the carpets are removed for the ESL version from Royal Blood because it was like some controversy with Widow Mines and the carpets, yada yada yada. I think you know the drill at this point. The maps are in there for an eternity, so if you don't, then I guess it will not really matter at this point. So we are also working on a new map pool proposal for the team modes. Okay, that's a good one, but there is no list to share just yet. As a second step, please find below the major balance update prepared by our beloved Balance Council. The proposed set of changes include 2 major redesigns, updated values for 70 plus different parameters of 21 units, and a few buildings. Are you excited about mid-game Mothership bringing back mech play to TVP? With the Cyclone redesign and Broodlords becoming closer to Guardians? Okay. Alright, so let's first of all look at the maps, okay? I'll open these separately. So the only one that I actually have any knowledge are Golden Aura and Hard Lead. Now, let's look at these. Sure, sorry about that. Okay, so basically we have Golden Aura. Is this the one? Yeah, this is Golden Aura. Okay, so standard macro map, as far as I know. Yeah, we have 2 macro maps, 2 standard maps, 2 rush maps, and a freestyle map. That's a really nice balance in terms of map styles. I kind of like this map. It's pretty much a macro map, so it has, if I'm not mistaken, how many bases? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 bases, if I'm not miscounting these, but who knows? Anything could happen with me doing maths. I'm not doing maths on stream, not sure about recordings, but anyways. This is a really cool map in terms of design. If I am not exactly sure who did this map, I might need to go and check it out, but this is a really cool map in my opinion, so props to the map creator. I'm really happy about it. Okay, Site Delta, or Delta Site? Well, no, Site Delta. Okay, this one is an interesting one. I'm not exactly sure if I saw this one. So this is more like a tropical map, if I'm not mistaken. And this is also macro map, so I'm expecting 14 bases. Not gonna start counting them again. This looks more like an open map, or like a larger map, or wider, I guess. It's what I'm trying to say here. Question is, what is actually the size of these maps, right? I mean, this could be like looking really large, but turns out that the distance between like bases and natural to natural is like quite short, or not as big as I expected. But yeah, this looks really nice in my opinion. This is a decent map. Okay, 2 out of 2, it's really good. Oceanborn, this reminds me of Moondance, so honestly, automatically it just eliminates itself, I think. Just the vibe and the colors, you know? Yeah, but obviously it's not Moondance. Let's take a look. So this is the standard map. So third base, I'd say it's a bit far away and open. And this third base is quite difficult to take. If this would be a third base. In that case, obviously. No, I don't think this should be a third base. I think this is what you need to take, like main, natural, third, and fourth, if I'm not mistaken. You can be attacked from like 2 angles on your third, and there's like a lot of positions, I think, where you can set up tanks. Might be crazy on that one, but I think that is the case. That's usually what I look at, and how open the map is. So yeah, overall, by the way, overall it doesn't look as bad. I like the layout. We'll see if this is gonna have like quite powerful and abusable spots by any of the races. All right, Hecate. This one reminds me of Romanticide. No, actually, not really. Well, maybe? I'm not sure. But I remember looking at this map and just kind of checking it out. And this has a huge main, by the way, as far as I'm concerned. Huge main, decent size natural. Third base. Now, third base is quite interesting. It has like two sides which you can attack from, but obviously you can wall off here if it's needed for Protoss, for example. And honestly, I think it would require maybe 2 creep tumors. So kind of standard, I want to say. Actually, is this one of the rush maps? No, it's still one of the standard maps. So in terms of design, I kind of like this map. I feel like this one looks kind of the most balanced for all 3 races. Not too open, not too many abusable spawns at first sight, like from above. But yeah, we'll see how it turns out, right? I mean, there's a lot of space that you can build for over here and hide buildings and all that good jazz for the first 3 bases. So that brings some creativity. I don't know if that's like kind of like any kind of what you call it, I don't know if that's anything that people look at when they look at the maps, but yeah, it's something to take into account. All right, this one, what's the name of this one? Solaris. Okay, I'm not a fan of this as a design. I don't know why. I'm just not really a fan of this. This is a short map. This is a rush map. Third bases seem to be close. And if I'm not mistaken, this is like, let's open this over here. Am I crazy? No, actually, hold on a second. So this is interesting because if you take the triangle third, it's quite open, and oh my god, this is like speed zones here. Okay, so that is quite interesting. Might be great for some creative plays. I don't know. In terms of like design, the colors are not really something that I like here. I think it's quite monotone, if you ask me. I mean, there's too much gray, too much green. Not my style, I'm sorry. I like more vivid colors, I think. Not sure. I don't know. I just look at it, you know. There's the moment where you just look at it and you're like, no. You know, that there's that moment. The other one, Hard Lead. Now this one is an interesting one because it has like a low ground third base. Okay, so this triangle third is on the low ground, and look at that. You can actually like play around. I think it's gonna be harder to siege these 2 bases rather than these 2. So probably these 2 taken on the right side could, or respectively on the left here, could actually be better. There's Zelnaga towers, which I'm always a fan of. There's forward bases, so gives plenty of room for creativity and cheese and all that good jazz. I don't see any kind of rich Wesping gas. Actually, let's take a look at that one. So there's a rich Wesping gas here on Solaris. 2 bases, okay. There is... Am I crazy? Is there no gold or rich Wesping geyser on Hecate? No, there's not. Okay, interesting. Oceanborn has none of them. Okay, that eliminates a lot of cheese strats, I think, especially at the lower levels where you don't check. Guess maps are really starting to be designed for pro play, as far as I'm concerned. And there is a gold base here on Golden Aura, a single one at the bottom. So this kind of reminds me of oh my god, Cosmic Sapphire was the name? I think it was Cosmic, the one that had this base down here, right? I think. So yeah, quite interesting. And we have Black Lotus. So I am not exactly aware of this map. This looks like a weird map because this has destructible rocks here after the natural. Mineable minerals that gives you access to 2 relatively close bases. Mineable minerals here with a high... High ground and low ground base. Mineable minerals from... Wow. Imagine taking a hidden base on this one. Rocks here, so you can take them down, and then you have... You still don't have a straight path to the natural. Look at this turd. This is like super low ground. Imagine sieging this with like air units. Just pressuring. You by the time you drag the ground army over here, they need to split the army properly in the main and the third. If you take this third and this fourth. But then again, you could just trap them. Oh my god. No, wait a second. So imagine a strategy where you just come in here. Here's a base, okay? And you have these rocks here. If these rocks block everything, you trap your opponent on their two bases. And depending where they are with the army, if you like manage to track them down, you trap them and then start sieging. By the time they take this down, you take a base and you piss off. How cool that would be, imagine. So yeah, typical freestyle map. I love it, by the way. The design looks really good in my opinion. If I'm not mistaken, we have here, so 1, 2... Is this 3 and 4 levels? There's 4 height levels, I think. But yeah, overall, I think it's a really cool map pool. If they introduce at least a couple of maps, I really want Black Lotus in here. I know pro players will hate this because it's like freestyle map and chaos can get in the whole game like in a moment, but yeah, doesn't matter. But guys, the moment that you were waiting for, balance update test mod. Okay, balance update test mod. So patch goals: make Protoss more stable on professional level in the early game versus Raven pushes, and more able to fight Terran mid-late game armies without solely relying on disruptors. That is a change that I welcome 300%, okay? Increase the variety in the mid-game and late-game army compositions by reducing the strength of masked ghosts, banelings, and disruptors. That's something I also can get behind. Make over-specialized units, cyclones, mothership, and infestors viable throughout more stages of the game. So that means the ones that only have like a certain role in a certain strategy, that means we see them once every blue moon, those should actually be more useful now. Bring more visual clarity to important units on the minimap, as well as relevant abilities like Widow Mine targeting, Disruptor's cooldown indicator. Okay, that's great. Promote more interaction in the late game scenarios by making units such as Tempest, Mothership, and Broodlord more maneuverable. So I read through the patch notes, by the way, and there's some crazy shit here. I'm gonna give you my thoughts, but we can take a look at the table of contents, okay? So we have the Cyclone, the Ghost, Widowmine, Medevac, and Raven changed for the Terran. We have Lurker, Infestor, the Spire, Vipers, Broodlords, and Overlords, especially Dropper Lords. Then Ultralisks, Hydralisks, and Banelings being changed. So Zerg has the second most changes here. And then we have the Protoss with the Forge, Cybercore being changed a bit. So changes in those, by the way, not the building itself. Prism, Disruptor, the Void Ray, Tempest, Mothership, Sentry, Oracle, and Immortal. Okay, that's these are the things that they are going to touch on. So the Cyclone is a really interesting one. Okay, I am super hyped for this, and if I play it here, I'm gonna try. Mass Cyclone is going to be the first thing that I'm going to try, I think. So the cost is reduced. Especially the gas requirement is going to be really cool. So Cyclone openings will be much more common, I think. Maybe even switch up Hellions with Cyclones. I don't know. Is it worth it? I think we're gonna find out. We'll see. And Tech Lab requirement removed. So imagine you put a reactor on that factory and you just produce 2 Cyclones at a time. How cool is that? But it's getting more squishy. It's going to be squishier. So its health is reduced to 100. No armor anymore. And supply cost is also reduced from 3 to 2, so that is a welcome change. The auto attack range is decreased, so it has to be a bit more in the battle. The auto attack damage and the attack speed has been changed. Not sure what it was before. 11 plus 2 versus armored. The lock-on, okay, lock-on now uses Cyclone auto attack damage. And yeah, +1 per weapon upgrade, no longer ignores armor. That is also a nerf. But imagine, like, it's going to be shifted from like a tier 1.5 slash maybe tier 2 according to like upgrades and everything. If we counted that, a very weak tier 2, I'd say, to a viable but not overpowered tier 1 unit, at least at first glance. Lock-on no longer has a delay before first shot, maintains weapon cooldown between lock-ons. That is a quality of life change, I think. Now it has no cooldown, which is kind of interesting. We'll see how that goes. Also, the cast range is reduced and the max range. Now, the max range was crazy, okay? 15 range is like amazingly crazy, okay? You just scanned and basically destroyed everything in the air that tried to get away, like a drop or something. So it made Cyclone openers blind counter a lot of like drop oriented things, at least in my opinion. So multiple Cyclones will now auto cast lock on onto the same target. As not a big of a fan of the Cyclone, I haven't really played with Cyclones too much, so I guess that wasn't possible until this point. Now it's possible, so I guess dealing with like something like battle cruisers in TVT, if somebody goes for that, I know at the lowest levels it's a possibility, okay? Or dealing with like I guess tougher units, you can basically just deal a lot of damage to them, and that's pretty much it. Note that the the build time has not been changed, so it's gonna take the same time, so no further buffs there. Another, I don't even know if it's like a nerf. I think in this state Macfield is not required. I think it would be busted with that, especially the Macfield that was in the last one, like +10 damage versus everything instead of +20 versus armored. Oh yeah, the one big nerf that I'm concerned about is Cyclones were used in battle mech styles because they could rotate really fast around the map. Now that movement speed is drastically reduced, okay? So there's like a 1.13 move speed reduced. That's kind of big. But there's a new upgrade which will increase the move speed to 5.1. So I guess, and I'm kind of sure that you need like the tech lab to actually get that Cyclone upgrade. So let's see how this is going to pan out. But yeah, as a note, they say redesign the Cyclone to make it into more all-around unit in all matchups. Aims to increase the viability of mech-based gameplay against Protoss while promoting more active engagements with mech-based armies. Mech is usually associated with turtle playstyle, so I guess that's a really good way to phrase it. So yeah, I'm actually curious. I'm pretty sure this upgrade is going to be in the tech lab. In my opinion, this should be in the tech lab. So you still need at least one factory. At least you need like, I don't know, if you just want like a Cyclone Opera, and I think you need to commit to like a battle mech or like mech playstyle. Yeah, so mech players, I guess it's really good. The Ghost is I'm not sure about this one. Snipe damage reduced from 170 to 130, and the 130 is with +40 versus psionic. So other ghosts, queens, infestors, viper, or vipers as well. I think vipers as well. Like, so spellcasters basically, and that's pretty much it, right? I mean, whatever casts spells based with energy. I think that counts as psionic. I'm trying to think of all of them, but there's not a lot of them. But yeah, the damage will stay the same against those targets. Now, EMP radius has been reduced. This is gonna induce a lot of Terran tears. Okay, I am ready for this. They're gonna be like, oh, they destroyed the ghost once again. Oh, they killed the ghost the last time. Now they just kicked it while dead. Yeah. So the comment here was, reducing the radius of EMP will encourage Protoss to use Psystorm in the PvT matchup and help in straight up engagements versus Terran armies. Sniper will no longer one-shot units such as Zealots and Roaches, as well as requiring an extra shot to kill Ultralisk in the late game versus Zerg, generally reducing their cost efficiency over time. Yes, the ghosts were cost efficient, okay? Despite a lot of people not acknowledging that, the ghosts were cost efficient if you use the ghosts properly, by the way. So we're talking about the highest level, while still being able to kill important spellcasters such as Vipers. I think that is a fair choice to make. I mean, ghosts, if you were like, I don't know, like banking energy on the ghosts, you could start sniping stuff like, you know, you could like literally just double snipe, I don't know, 10 ghosts would kill 5 ultras in like a couple of seconds, I think. Or maybe it was like 3 shots. Anyway, so basically, if you banked some energy, you could get rid of a lot of important units. I'm trying to think if it's like... but... I think Lurkers are 2 and maybe Hydras are more. I'm not... Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I don't want to claim facts that I'm not 100% sure of. That's what I said. I'm not representing the pro players here. And sniping ultras in the late game with like mass amounts of ghosts is not going to be something that really affects us. And the EMP radius, honestly, at the diamond level, if somebody's like, I don't know, like even like storm drops are not a thing at my level. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I think the EMP radius is a bit too hard. I would put it to like 1.625 maybe. But obviously, by the way, once again, reminder, this is not 100% final thing. So yeah, that's important to note. Widow Mine. Drilling claws now also make the Widow Mine unburrow twice as fast. Targeting a line is now more visible. So this will actually help. This is kind of a nerf, I think, because it's easier now to see it in the middle of a huge chaotic battle. And it's easier to actually see what they're targeting, I guess, when they're like being dropped in the mineral line or something. But this one is a huge buff in my opinion, especially in TVZ. I'd say if the Widow Mine survives, they can just basically unburrow, or they reposition, they just unburrow and reburrow again. With Drilling Claws, it's gonna be fast. Okay, so return some of the strength to active Widow Mine micro in the mid game versus Zerg. Oh, by the way, if you don't want to like blow up everything, you can just unburrow and reburrow or something. You know, that's also a thing. I'm not sure how much it is used in DVZ. I guess not a lot, because it's like super fast battles and you don't really have time to micro that much. But like the repositioning of Widow Mines is going to be a lot faster. Okay, so returns the strength to active Widow Mine micro in the mid game versus Zerg. That was lost after the Drilling Claws burrow speed nerf. Was that big of a nerf, honestly? Well, not significantly increasing the power of Widow Mine drops. Not significantly increasing the power. Like, hold on a second, okay? I know pro players can deal with this. Now, I don't want to sound like somebody complaining, but Widow Mines still one-shot probes and drones, okay? Probes and drones are still one-shot by Widow Mines. So you say it's not significantly increasing the power of Widow Mine drops. Why do you need to increase the power of Widow Mine drops in the first place? If that is what that's what I'm understanding here. Now, I'm not exactly sure about this, and I don't know why this is happening, but if this will make honestly, well, it's just drilling claws, you know, but imagine if someone is just doing like drilling claws widow mine drops. Is that a thing? No, not a thing, right? It's just in TV. Drilling claws is not used in TVP, just TVZ, and not in the early game, like in the mid to late game. Anyways, not sure if this is gonna increase the widow mine drop power. I don't think it will, and I hope it won't. Anyways, medevac speed upgrade, which I didn't even know that it's in the game, is is replaced with Caduceus reactor, which will increase the energy regen rate by 100%. Now, Caduceus reactor, not sure. Not exactly sure if this is like from the campaign or something. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. But it's going to cost 100 minerals, 100 gas, and it's going to take a bit less than a minute to research. Minimap radius increased from 0.75 to 1. Now, I'm going to look at this comment here. Standardizes minimap size of Warpism, Medevac, and Overlord. Previously, Warpisms could appear smaller on the minimap on large maps. Now that is important in terms of visibility and intercepting drops and everything. So that's really important to have, in my opinion, and just standardize it for each and every single race and on each and every single map, of course. Now I'm curious about the visibility thing on this one. Probably, as I said, I'm going to play a few games if this is already on the PTR. Hopefully it is. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, Raven, one of the most controversial TVP opening units. Interference matrix now requires an upgrade. This is also going to say, oh my god, I already hear my teammates Morrow, Sickest, Meva, they're going to like go crazy on this. They're gonna be like, no, they killed the Raven as well, they killed the ghost, now they killed the Raven, oh my god. I'm sorry, I don't want to be a dick here. If I'm still a dick, let me put this here. On this one, I hear Kneehead. I actually hear Kneehead crying about, why do they buff mech? I hate when they buff mech. I remember last time when there was like a change for like the mech playstyle, he was like super unhappy with that, so wasn't happy with the changes, especially because mech was a bit buffed. Good old times. Anyways, so interference matrix requiring an upgrade, I'd say at the lowest level it's not gonna matter. At my level it already matters, because yes, I can bait out a interference matrix as Protoss, but if I'm out of position, what am I doing? If I don't see the Raven, let's say my observer got denied, and or I tried to snipe the Raven and I fail, and then I just get the interference matrixed over and over again. 2-3 Ravens maybe, I don't know, somebody goes crazy, stuff like that. By the way, just saying, so this is gonna be another minute research time, but do we have an instance where Caduceus reactor will surely be on the tech lab, which increases the energy regen rate by 100%? Could we actually have something? No, I think that's a late game upgrade, right? That sounds more like a late game upgrade. But even in the late game, it's kind of interesting to actually get it, because if we think about it, why would you swap your reactor starport to a tech lab one, even for a minute? That adds more micro, more stuff to remember. This is interesting, because I was thinking maybe if you get interference matrix as an upgrade, then you might even get Caduceus reactor, but getting it early on, 100, almost a minute of starport time, or tech lab starport time, which means you're producing one less medevac in the meantime. It's already like you're delaying your push by opening Raven anyways. Now you actually need to, and by the way, Ravens, you might be able to like get 2 Ravens, I think. You get 2 Ravens by the time this finishes. Is it 30 seconds? Am I is my mic playing games? So this could be an interesting one. Raven openers, I think, should be still that kind of intact stuff. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, here's the comment, and I kind of agree with it. Single Raven opening can currently disable multiple key defensive units in early pushes against Protoss. The cheap cost of the upgrade still allows for multiple Raven play in TVT and specialized builds in TVP. Now, I can actually get behind this. Getting a Raven in high-level TVP was kind of a no-brainer, especially after the buffs to the is it like production time, training time, build time. Sorry, build time. And I think it's really powerful. So you gather energy to have 2 interference matrices. You kind of keep it in the middle of the army. You move it forward, disable a Colossus, force the Protoss to move back, at least move back. You can just siege the base for free. Basically, it forces the Protoss to disengage instantly by the time this happens, or just be really on point with its micro. I don't know, it's like really crazy. Forces like a Templar maybe to have that for feedback, if not for Storm. Yeah, it's quite interesting how this is going to pan out. I still think if you open Raven, you might as well open 2 Ravens and just get the 1 minute research time interference matrix for 50/50. That is not that bad, especially that the Raven doesn't cost as much as it used to due to the previous patch. So yeah, I still think it's gonna be a powerful unit, in my opinion. If anything, it's gonna make Protoss have to snipe two Ravens when it comes to the first push. So yeah, we'll see. Zerg. Now this is an interesting one. The Lurker Adaptive Talent move speed has been removed, but the cost has been lowered. 1/3 less, so it's kind of a nice one. And these research fast, as I said, these are probably my favorite upgrades in the and most hilarious in my opinion in the entire game, because they research super fast considering this is like Hive tech upgrade. I also thought about it, like maybe that's why they research so fast, because it's like, oh, you had to wait so much to get to Hive. Now don't wait 2 more minutes to actually be able to use your lurkers properly, right? Because lurkers without upgrades, as I always say, it's not that scary. But infestors, oh, let's read the comments. As the main counters to the lurkers are getting nerfed, reduce the speed of repositioning lurkers in the late game. Well, I kind of get behind that, because the lurkers have been really good in terms of like repositioning. Just unburrow, reposition to another side, boom, there you go. That's it. I know I don't have to worry about like not being able to run away from like disrupt the novas. Okay, that's something I know I wouldn't be able to do anyways, and none of my fellow diamond players do most of the time. So yeah, usually the way you counter disruptors is by abducting them, so that's it. So you only see like top level players just unburrow and just split against the disruptor shots with lurkers. So infestor, one of my, in my opinion, one of the most underrated slash rarely used specialist unit. So pathogen glands upgrade removed, stunning energy increased to 75. That means you can actually use a fungal growth, cast range reduced by 1 and damage reduced by 10. So it says, since the Infested Terran ability was removed, the Infestor has no utility until reaching 75 energy. Fungal damage and cast range is reduced to prevent Infestors from killing Marines with 2 consecutive fungals, as a trade-off to the EMP radius nerf in the TVC late game. And that is totally fair, in my opinion. Make fungal be useful not because of its damage, but make fungal useful because of its slow and crowd control. But also make the make it so you need to have really good control. As you can know that Infestors cannot cast fungal while burrowed, only neuroparasites, so that is important to remember. So I'm 100% behind this whole change. I actually love this change, and I'm going to use Infestors in ZVT a bit more, I think. I'm gonna be a bit more... How do you call that? Well, I'm gonna be a bit more brave in terms of using Infestors. Alright, Spire. Air armor upgrade cost reduced from 150 to 25 to 150, 150. So basically, the cost has been reduced by an overall 50 minerals, 50 gas to match the air weapons. This is the same for the Cyber Core upgrades, the Protoss air armor. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Vipers consume damage reduced from 200 to 150. Okay, reduces the attention required for gathering Viper energy, so that is quite nice. You're not accidentally going to kill one of your buildings if you don't pay attention. Broodlords. Now this is an interesting one because they increased the move speed once again. And reduce the move speed of the broodlings, so they make the broodlord more agile, but the broodlings aren't getting nerfed. Health reduced from 30 to 20. That's quite big, in my opinion. That's a third of their health. And broodling attack speed reduced. It says from 046 to 057, but this is actually the, I think it's called the attack time. So this is the interval that they attack between, you know. So it was a bit less than a half a second for between each attack. Now it's a bit more than a half a second. So that's how you need to interpret it. At least as far as I know from my general like MOBA and like, you know, I guess I can say RTS and fire rate. You know, we can call it fire rate. So something like that. Continuing in the direction of the last balance update, further increasing broodlord mobility while further reducing strength of the broodlings to compensate. Should allow for more active play in the late game. We'll see. Duration of broodlings has not been reduced once again, but they got nerfed once again, while the broodlord has been buffed a bit. Okay, overlord. Deceleration speed increased from 149 to 228, and generate creep delay reduced from 143 to 107. Reduce the amount of time it takes for overlords to stop and begin dropping creep to allow for more active usage of queen drops. And yeah, German taxi build just got a buff. Thank you, Lambo, I think. I think this is something, if it's not suggested by Lambo, then it's probably in honor of Lambo. Make that build a bit stronger and see it a bit more often, because I think people love these cheesy builds on the pro level, and I'm not gonna lie, it makes for really good games to be casted. So not that fun to play against, but yeah, it's not bad. Okay, transport upgraded overlords. The move speed is increased just a tad bit, and move speed with pneumatized carapace is further increased, so that is really good. Note that the non-transport upgraded overlord, so not sure about actually I'm not sure about the so dropper lords. Okay, we will call them dropper lords because that's what everybody calls them. Those are the ones affected, not the normal overlords. Okay, allow for more active drop usage in combination with bailing damage nerf. More on that just over here, see. Should not increase the overall strength of bailing harass against Protoss. I think this is a throwback to the times where bailing drops were a thing. I wasn't playing back then, but I saw a couple of games. It's kind of interesting. Okay, Ultralisk. Cost reduced to 275 and 200. Bit more efficient on the minerals. Burrow unburrow time reduced. Wait, so burrow unburrow time. Okay, so they burrow and unburrow faster. Why? Honestly, who's burrowing Ultralisk nowadays? Okay, I'm just kidding. I guess it's something to do. Lurkers and Broodlords are finally favored over Ultralisks in the late game, as Ultralisks have poor cost efficiency over time. Should make them more used throughout long games, while not greatly reducing the initial investment. Okay. Hydralisk. Now this is my favorite. This one is my favorite, okay? Favorite as fucking upgrade or balance change that I ever had. If anybody knows me, the Hydra is my favorite Zerg. A shout out to Keshev, my teammate, for being also a Hydra enthusiast. Speed plus range upgrades combined. Thank you very much. 150, 150, and 71 seconds. That is really cool, honestly, and it's not that bad. So, increase the speed at which Hydras come online in the mid game for more quickly responding to enemy air switches such as Mutalisks, and to supplement weaker bailings against ground-based armies. Strength of Hydra-based timings will be monitored versus Protoss during the testing period. So a Hydra max out is going to be a lot more powerful, I think, and will come online a lot faster. Or maybe not even a max out, just like a Hydra push. Bailings. Bonus damage per upgrade reduced from 2 + 2 versus light to 2 versus all. Yes, that means these are not going to one-shot probes and drones with +2 attack anymore. Centrifugal hooks cost reduced from 150 to 100. I like this change, but I hate so a bit of a buff on the research time, but I hate that the health bonus is removed. Will no longer one-shot probes or drones with +2 attack. Yes, just what I said before. Reduce some of the strength of mass bailing armies in the mid-game, and reduce the volatility in defending bailing run-bys by requiring multiple bailings to kill workers. The speed upgrade will require less of an investment to maintain a similar balance for 2 base Terran Marine tank-based all-ins. I think it's a fair call. I still hate this one. The health bonus removed. This will make them squishy and easier to deal with it. So yeah. Anyways, let's move on to Protoss, the race that I abandoned recently. Is it a mistake? Stay tuned and find out. So the Forge shield upgrades are getting cheaper, just to compensate for their, I guess, underused value or under usage, if we can call it like that. Cybercore, as I said, armor gets the same cost as air upgrades. Air attack upgrades. War Prism radius increase to 1, so it's standardized and at this point. Okay, disruptors supply increase from 3 to 4, so less disruptors being able to be made. This one I kind of like, because now it's going to make it more supply inefficient. So that means these are going to be these are like the backbone of the late game army, and I hated that. Model skill reduced by 9%. Radius increased from 0.5 to 0.625. Does not affect collision with buildings. So I guess that means they're not going to collide that much. It says it's currently hard to tell which disruptors have purification over available. So, you know, when the disruptor just flashes yellow, it's a bright yellow light in the middle of the ball. That means it has the spell up. If it doesn't, if it's like a dimmer light, then it actually it's not yet off cooldown. So, but I agree, it's kind of hard if they are clumped up together or between like the army. It's gonna be hard to actually tell. So, The goal of supply cost increase is to reduce the potential of mass disruptors armies, while still allowing Protoss players to use Disruptor as a strong mid-game and late-game tool. Fair enough. Prismatic alignment move speed with flux swings increased. This is something that Probe actually pointed out as being like a kind of a bug, that Void Rays with prismatic alignment, so that means you turn on the Void Rays, had lower move speed when had flux veins, which is the speed upgrade. Okay, we're not talking about like standard mode Void Rays. We're talking about the speed upgraded Void Rays. So they were slower when prismatic alignment was turned on if they had flux veins, rather than having like higher speed anyways. So previously there was an issue where flux veins decreased the move speed of Void Rays while prismatic alignment was active from 282 to 262 when it was intended to remain at 282. Okay, allows players to actively micro Void Rays in the late game engagements without needing to cancel prismatic alignment. Fair enough. Quality of life change, and honestly I consider this as a bug fix even. Tempest. Acceleration, deceleration increase. It's doubled. It's faster. Starts faster, stops faster, okay? Better micromobility. Radius model scale reduced by 10%. So they're gonna be just like the ultras. These are going on a diet as well as disruptors. So everything is going on a diet. Everything gets smaller and smaller. So you're gonna need glasses, and you're gonna need to be like a CS:GO player. You know, get your monitor. You just sit up, get your monitor, like you're gonna look down over here, and you're gonna have like, you know, like 10 centimeters or something of distance between your eyes and your monitor, just to see everything, because everything's going on a diet. I'm kidding, guys, don't worry. This is a big one, by the way. Mothership. So MAMASHIP is getting a huge reducement in cost. So 150 reduce. So that's gonna put it at 250. No longer minus 400. Is it gonna be minus 250? We'll see, because the supply cost is now lowered. Build time is significantly lower, just shy of 80 seconds instead of 115, almost 115. Speed increased to 283. That's really nice. That's almost the same change as with the flux vein Void Rays. Lateral acceleration increased, and I didn't actually understand this one, but it says is how fast the unit changes direction while moving. Increasing this will make the Mothership no longer lag behind other army units of similar speed. Okay, now radius and model scale reduced by 20%. Not a diet. No longer has energy. This is a big one. So everything now is cooldown based, just like the battlecruiser. Recoil radius reduced from 6.5. Sorry, I cannot speak anymore. 6.5 to 5. Now I'm not exactly sure what the difference in range that is, but it's gonna make it significantly smaller, I think. No longer can recall so many units, but it's still a powerful spell. You can use it every 2 minutes basically. Time Warp has now a 60-second cooldown. This is the slow spell. Slow reduced from 50 to 33%. Time Warp radius reduced from 4 to 3.5. Understandable. Cast delay reduced from 179 to 071. So if I'm not mistaken, the cast delay means the time it requires from when you press the whole thing to be casted. So that's going to cast faster. It's going to be less effective. And it's going to be a smaller radius. So no longer the case with mowing down stuff in the choke point when you just drop a time warp there. Cloak Fear is no longer passive. It is now an activated ability which lasts for 10 seconds with a 50-second cooldown. Okay, now that is a big one, because no longer you need to use it for cloak, then just for scans, overseers, observers, oracles, stuff like that. So this This I think is sort of a nerf as well, but also like a nice rework. Gives you more more of a purpose, you know, a different purpose for the mothership now. And it's gonna be like, you want to have it like with the cloak thing or not, you know, like you decide when to cloak them, and it's not that big of a cooldown in my opinion. So, reduces the investment and increased maneuverability of the mothership, prevent it from being hard countered by EMP. That is also true. Should allow for earlier mothership builds in all matchups, as well as more active usage of the mothership. Watch me play Brood War as... So, you're gonna see me play Protoss, and I'm gonna go for mothership rushes or something. I don't know, it's like crazy. Finally, the thing that I wanted to do is gonna be viable, just recalling into everybody's main base. Hooray. Sentry. Guardian Shield duration increased. This is quite big, so it will help more in prolonged fights. Allows Guardian Shield to be precast before engaging Terran armies involving ghosts, lasting longer into the fight. The reason why it says allowing to precast before, it means if you're used to this one, precasting it with 2 seconds before engaging, that will still give you the old duration, but you're not going to be vulnerable to EMPs, okay? That is important. So you're not going to be like, I want to cast Guardian Shield, but oh, EMP just hit my army. So yeah, let's hope it's gonna bring some more use of sentries, because they're really squishy anyways. Oracle Stasis Ward side range increased from 4 to 7, so you can actually use them as wards on the map, like spotter pylons or something, maybe. We'll see. Allows Stasis Ward to be, yeah, for more central map vision with Stargate based openings. Oracles were quite weak in PvZ, I think, despite being the core opening unit. I tried to remember if it was like Lambo or some high-level Zerk who said like, oh, they open 3 Oracles, basically up until like this or this minute, the game is kind of free, you know? Because, yes, you can harass, but if the Zerk has Spores, Queens, all the way, you are actually... you're actually risking losing your oracles. If you lose your oracles, you have no scouting, and you basically just use them as defensive stasis ward bots in the later stages, maybe revealing some of the armies, and that's it. Okay, Immortal. Barrier will now also block the first instance of damage, which triggers the barrier. Counts towards 100 damage blocked by the barrier. So now I'm actually not sure if it's gonna... I think it says like it's gonna block the damage up until 100 damage. And I guess it's going to inflict the damage above 100, but is there anything that does above 100 damage? I'm not sure. Currently, EMP hitting an Immortal will drain all of the Immortal's shields, as well as activating the barrier, which will generally expire before the Immortal ends up receiving other damage, making the unit heavily fall off in the mid game against Terran. This is I think also something at the highest level, like hitting with the EMP, moving back, waiting for the barrier to expire. Now, A move all the way, baby. That's Diamond League. So there you have it, guys. Am I gonna regret switching to Zerg? We'll see. I'm super happy about the Infestor and the Hydra changes. Not so much happy about the Bailing changes. But it is what it is. I guess there was nothing too big. I'm not too big of a fan of Broodlords anyways. Vipers, I mean, I started to use Vipers. The Lurker one, I don't think it's gonna affect me personally, because I don't think. As for Terrans, I think the Raven and the Cyclone are the two big ones. Ghost is going to be an interesting one to monitor. Is it going to be too weak? We'll see. I'm curious what people will do with this Terran unit now, the new Cyclone. I'm curious if anybody's gonna waste starport time instead of producing Liberators or like multiple medevacs in the mid to late game. We'll see about that. Maybe if you require, maybe this can be a situational that it will be used a bit more. we'll see. Other than that, for Protoss, I'm super excited for the mothership. Tempest got a really good quality of life change, in my opinion. It was quite unusable. If you fought in the wrong place, then bye basically, and that's it. Okay, and the disruptor, finally, maybe finally Protoss doesn't have to use disruptors every single game. I doubt it, but it's a step in the right direction. So if this gets into the game, I'll try to get some people to play against on the PTR. And yeah, that's it, I think. Nothing else to add here. Thank you so much. If you made it up until this point, then thank you so much for watching. That means you're a hardcore fan. Kudos and huge love from myself. And yeah, as always, feel free to check out my casting channel, check out my Twitch channel. Everything's going to be linked in the description, as well as CSO Esports' links. My team, the one that I manage, the one that I love, the one that I owe all of this, basically the motivation and everything. So yeah, huge shout out to them as well. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.